Get ready for the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, it's time for the VooDoo Chef Podcast, where we will discuss all things voodoo from the VooDoo Studios located right here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. So to all my booties out there, if you're looking for nothing but a good time, this is the place to be. Call your friends, knock on the neighbor's door, and let them know it's time to party like a rock star for the next hour. Join me and my guests and learn to voodoo like we do as we discuss our faves and the voodoo that we use. I'll put our guests on the spot as we ask for their top 3, and make sure and listen as we discuss some of our favorite war stories from the kitchens we've worked in. Sit back, grab a tall glass of your favorite libation, and enjoy this episode of the VooDoo Chef Podcast.
What's going on, Voodies? If you hadn't noticed, Big Eddie C back in the house, and we got a special podcast tonight. We're going to be talking to Henry Shake Washington, who is running for school board. And I think that, what I remember as Shake, Big Eddie C, you and I both worked for Shake for some time. What sticks out in my brain is the picture of him dressed up as the Chamberlain Chief, where he's got his guns a-blazing, man.
Oh, yeah.
So I went back to my sleeveless shirt for tonight, so let Shake see my guns, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do that. It's just not going to be the same thing, I look like I've been in prison, dude. It looks like some, old biker got a hold of when they take apart those cassette machines and they get that needle and stylus out. Nobody knows
whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. We were talking, before we went live here. Shake's just quite an interesting man. I can't wait to talk about these things. How long did you say you worked with him or underneath him?
10 years plus. 7 as a principal at Chamberlain Middleton, and then he was area superintendent for I don't know how long. It was many years. So I just honestly I lost track. It was the years just start to. They glom together. They look like those things that the guys pull out of the sewer, those fatbergs, man. It just, 25 years is just gone.
Only whoosh. Eddie C, man. Only Eddie C. Let's not. Well, we got to throw out the voodoo stuff. We got golf coming up. We're going to do a double drop with this podcast because Shake's got to get out there. We're going to drop 2 podcasts on Friday. So, you know what? You can learn about the golf on the other episode. You can learn about the Voodoo Hangout, all that stuff. I say we just jump right in and get Shake in the room and just, pick his brain and introduce the Voodies to who could possibly be the newest member of the school board come November. What do you say?
Let's do it. Let's hop into the deep end, baby.
Yeah,
no
so let's bring
on my arms. Just hop right in. Dive in.
So, we're bringing in one of the what I hear to be the most intimidating principals there's ever been. But we both work for this gentleman. He's nothing but fair. He's nothing but straightforward. Tampa born, a product of Hillsborough County Public Schools. All right, entering the podcast right now, one of the most intimidating principals in Hillsborough County, Henry Shake Washington. What's going on, friend?
Okay, good. How you doing? How you and Ed? Y'all doing okay?
Oh, we're doing fabulous.
Doing great, man.
We're doing amazing. We got old friends in the room with us, and this is what's so cool.
I know. How about them Chiefs?
How about them Chiefs? I hear they're switching up and playing Gaither because we had a couple schools that had some problems. Having a change of football schedule too. I heard that I think it's Hillsborough and maybe Wharton.
It was Jefferson.
Jefferson had a COVID challenge.
Yeah, Jefferson. I heard that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Kind of crazy, but those are the time we're in, and we're gonna figure it out. But we're here to talk about you tonight, my friend. Tampa born and raised, man. How about that?
Hey, yeah, man. I'm a true Tampanian.
And then a product of our own Hillsborough County Public Schools. talk about that, going through public school here in Hillsborough County, and ultimately getting to come back. But we got a long journey. Tell us what Hillsborough County was like when Shake went to school.
Well, when I went to school back in the day, we went to predominant black high school. See, we had elementary school. Meacham was predominant black. And then I went to B.T. Washington, which was a predominant black junior high. And then I went to high school, which was George S. Milton High School, predominant black. And it's quite different in those days because my sophomore and junior year, I was an athlete. So I played sports. I was a 4'11". I played football, basketball, baseball, and ran track. So when we played sports, we played predominant black schools. So we had to travel to St. Pete, Pensacola in order to get our schedule in. And then my senior year, that's when it was the year of integration. That's when we played Chamberlain, Hillsborough, Robertson, and schools then, because that was the first year of integration. And I can remember back in the day when we had to travel to Pensacola. We would be out of school like 4 or 5 days and come back. And man, we would really be beat because we were playing games, 2 games out the week, especially in basketball. Then we would come back to school and come back to school that Friday morning. We may get in 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, but we came back to school that day, and participated in sports. Academically, hey, those teachers were on us too. Academically, oh man, they really piled it on. They had no mercy. We had to do our work because our thing was student athlete, a student first and sports next.
I'm glad you say that. A lot of the challenge I had with this COVID was, we're distance learning and everything, but yet we had all our athletes back on campus, and that was a major concern to me. And we got to be student driven and student first. We are student athletes, and the academics should drive the athletics and not the other way around.
Academics number one. You're right.
And I'm glad to hear you say that, and that just makes me super excited, even more excited that we got possible excitement happening in November, right? Oh, right. We lost you.
Are you okay?
We lost your video.
Okay, it should be on in a minute.
Nope, we're back. All the things you're telling me just excite me even more for the excitement that could be happening in November. What, I know I'm bouncing all around. That's the ADD. That's the VooDoo.
But that's okay. That's okay.
You
still was a great teacher, though. We enjoyed it.
Oh, man, I appreciate that. From you, that means the world, my friend. Was that a red Solo cup, Shake?
That was what?
Was that a red Solo cup?
Yes, it was water in here.
Oh,
I've been
okay.
running today.
I've got iced tea in mine.
Okay.
That's not standard protocol, but we've got dignitaries in the room today. So Shake, I want to talk about this. You actually were afforded scholarship to go to college, and
yes, sir.
And was it a one sport scholarship? Was it an academic scholarship? What actually got you?
Sports got me. I went to Kentucky State University on a football scholarship. I could have gone to. Now, let me tell you the story, though. Let me tell you the story. And I think people back in the day don't understand. I was a quarterback in high school. So I had good grades. I really had good grades because, you had to be a student first. And I had the opportunity to go to the University of Tampa because Leon McQuay, who was a great football player, he was going to the University of Tampa. And they wanted to recruit me to go to the University of Tampa. But they wanted me to go there and be a defensive back or a wide receiver. Because you got to remember, back in those days, they didn't have black quarterbacks in major colleges. So, I was intelligent. I made outstanding grades, but they wanted me to be a defensive back. So I chose not to go to the University of Tampa because I wanted to be a quarterback. That's what I had been playing all my years in high school. And Sam Bailey came to my house, spoke to my father because my mother passed away when I was young. So we dealt with my father and he said, I want you to come to the University of Tampa. And they really have a great layout for me. And my father wanted me to stay. I really didn't want to leave home because Tampa is my home. I love Tampa. But what I realized was the mere fact that, hey, I'm a quarterback. You know, I'm just as good as other guys. I could throw the ball. I could run. I was an athlete. But he wanted to change my position because they did not have a lot of black quarterbacks in college during that time. So that's why I ended up at Kentucky State University as a quarterback.
And how many years did you actually get to play there before you got called to active service?
Okay, I played there for a year because it was cold up in Kentucky, man. I'm gonna tell you, it was really cold up there. So
that proves he's a Tampa boy right there.
I was starting quarterback. I started up there, and then I came out of Southern University. And I had to set out a year because, you know, when you transfer, you can't play the next year.
Right.
So I had to set out a year. And when I came to Southern to be the starting quarterback. I could play a little bit. I was a good athlete. You know, I could play. But what happened, I got drafted into the military because they cut out the deferment plan. So my second year, when I probably would have been a starting quarterback at Southern University, I was drafted into the military. So I went into the Army. You know what? But I had a great time in the military because I ended up playing basketball in the Army.
Wow.
You know, I ended up being on the all Army team, and we traveled all over Europe playing basketball.
Oh, man.
So I still had a great time. You know, people don't realize the military have great athletes.
You know,
a lot of those guys, you know, got drafted. They probably would have went to the NBA because I had a guy we called Scott King. He jumped out the gym at 6'5". I mean, he could play. I mean, we had a great team, and I was the starting point guard. And I was 6'1", and I had guys 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" playing on that team. So we had a great team. But I enjoyed, you know, during that period of time.
You know, that a lot of people think that the military is all, you know, bang them up, shoot them up. But, you know, you're a perfect example. You used your skills and got on the team. And it's not like you're just gallivanting around Europe. I mean, that's goodwill that you're presenting out there by doing that and going and playing those other countries. How long were you in the military over in Europe?
I was in Germany. I was in Germany for 19 months. I stayed in Germany for 19 months, and I was a teletype operator. And during the time, like off season, we were not playing ball. I mean, I was on duty. I mean, we were out in the fields. Wow. I mean, we were working out in the fields, and it was cold in Germany. It was really cold.
Was it colder in Kentucky or Germany? Was it colder in Kentucky or in Germany?
Oh, Germany way colder than Kentucky. But I couldn't leave Germany, though.
Exactly. You couldn't just pack up that one.
I couldn't just leave Germany.
And just fly home.
Oh, man. So when you got back to the States, did you get to play any ball?
Well, when I came back, yes. When I came back, I went to the University of Southwestern Louisiana in Lafayette. And nobody knew me, which was good. So I went out for the team, and I made the team. I was going to be the starting quarterback. But I had a family then. You know, my mindset was totally different after coming out the military. So I decided not to play, and I got my degree. And I worked at Acadiana High School for a few, got my degree. Then I came back to Tampa, Florida.
So what made you make the decision to come back to Tampa? I mean, you pretty much traveled the world. What brought you back to Tampa?
Because, you know, because in Tampa, I knew everybody. And I wanted, you see, I changed my major like 2 or 3 times. I wanted to be a professional clothes designer. I wanted to be a social worker. And then I realized, hey, look what I do best. I'm a coach. I play sports. So I wanted to be a driver's education teacher and teach PE. So when I came back to Tampa, I wanted to come back to Tampa and work at one of the high schools here in Tampa. So when I first came back to Tampa, I went back to the University of Tampa to get certification in driver's education. And during that time, I was an assistant teacher. So when I came back, I was an assistant teacher, and I was picking up a course in driver's education. So when I got certified in driver's ed, then I got a job. But I started working at BT Washington as an assistant teacher, and I was coaching JV football at King High School because my high school basketball coach was the athletic director at King High School.
Man, I love that you came back to Tampa. You know, it's one of the things that one of the reasons why I left Chamberlain was to head over to Irwin so we could hopefully keep a lot of our amazing students and chefs here in town rather than send them out of town. So for you to come home, you know, that's a testimony to your true love of Tampa, and I'm glad you did. And because we didn't say it before, definitely thank you for your service, my friend. I did not know that about you.
Yeah, and then, you know, after I came back home, I joined the National Guard. So I was in the National Guard for 22 years.
Yeah.
So I retired from the Florida National Guard as a first sergeant.
That's amazing. And again, thank you for your service. I didn't know that about you, and that's huge to me, and that means the world.
I knew about the Guard from many, many years ago. You told me that during Hurricane Andrew, you got called up to go down there, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's right, Ed, I did. I stayed down there for 42 days. I was in administrator then at McLean Junior High, and they called us up because of, I think, Hurricane Andrews.
Yeah.
So I stayed down there for 42 days.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Very different. I think it looked like it was a war zone, because when we came down for the devastation, it was unbelievable. I mean, they had animals on the side of the road dead. They had animals in trees that the wind had blew up in trees. It was like in another world. It seemed like it was not even in America. You could see where it just destroyed trailers. It was nothing there. It was very devastating. And one of the most devastating things that I had, and I keep this in my mind, we went into a trailer, and the trailer was like demolished, and this kid was in a bathtub with tin over it, the bathtub. So we heard some noise because we was on the search team, and we were just out, you know, searching for bodies or whatever. And this kid was in the bathtub, and we heard that noise. He said, "What is that?" And when we pulled it back up, a little kid, I don't know, maybe it was 4 or 5, was in the bathtub, and he kept saying, "Fly, fly away, fly away." And later we realized that the hurricane had blew his parents away.
Oh my goodness.
Man.
And they put the kid in there to save the kid from the hurricane.
Wow.
God, that must be tough, man.
Yeah, it was tough. It was really, I mean, to see animals up in trees, you know, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the zoo was totally demolished. I mean, animals everywhere. You know, it was very devastating. I mean, it really was.
That's some serious stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was.
And that's the stuff that weighs on you and sticks in your brain, and you don't lose it. You know,
yeah,
we all have.
And then, you know, like in the riots, I was on the riot patrol. We was involved in riots down in Miami, and that was bad too. I mean, that was really, that was bad too. Because, you know, they were rioting, and some of the people were looting. You know, everybody wasn't out there for the good purpose, you know, but that's what we do as National Guardsmen. I mean, we have to defend the state, but we didn't hurt anybody, because that's not what we do.
All right.
We're there to protect people, not to hurt anybody.
So, Sheikh, you mentioned you had gotten into administration, and you mentioned McLean. I just got to ask you, is that where you met my good buddy, Mr. Mel Whitworth?
No, Mel and I met. We really met at Chamberlain High School, though.
Yeah. So
we really did.
And that's where you eventually became principal, right?
Yeah, right. Because Mel and I, at first when I was at Chamberlain, I was an AP, assistant principal for student affairs.
Okay.
That was my first tour there.
You know,
McLean.
I hear stories about you walking the halls at Chamberlain and how you didn't even have to open your mouth, man. People just fell in line with your presence. Is that a true statement?
Well, yeah, because then I weighed about.
High School Recipe Challenge back in business. This is our fifth year, so big shout out and thanks to Kaiser University Center for Culinary Arts, and that's all the people that sponsor VooDoo, from First Watch all the way down to our chefs, my man Tim Keelig, and everybody else that just believes in what we do. Thank you so much. We couldn't do it without all of you.
Then I was at I was about 240.
You were at about 240.
240. And I used to bench about 400, almost 400 pounds. Yeah, so I had guns, man. I mean, I was really big.
Those are my stats right now, just so we're all on the same page. Those are my current stats.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, not really, Shake.
No, I
Those
remember
those are
that.
those are my stats about the same way I'm drinking iced tea.
I got you.
But I heard you were a steadfast disciplinarian, and I like that, and I think that's needed in our schools. What do you think's different schools today? And let's not even talk about COVID. We've definitely seen a change in what's taking place in the schools, and a lot of people like to say, well, it wasn't like that when I was a kid. Well, no, because things progress and things change. What do you see as some of the challenges now in the schools that we need to take some action on?
I think some of the things we need to take action on is, all schools have to have discipline and order. We know that. But also, you got to remember, though, at Chamberlain High School, we were a family.
Yeah.
We worked as a family. And,
Yeah.
and people don't work as families now. Everybody was respected. And, we respected students too now. It wasn't like a one-way street. Students respected us because we demanded respect, and we gave them the respect they needed to be students.
You gave them
And
the
we don't
respect,
have that. We don't
the
we don't
respect they
have that.
deserve.
Yeah, right. We don't have that now. Ed, you could tell we had fun, and the students had fun.
It was a
The
good time.
students respected us, and they had fun. We had fun, and we expected them to be students, and they expected for us to be adults and do the things it takes for them to be successful.
You said something powerful right there. We expected them to be students, and they expected us to be adults. One of the challenge I see with a lot of the teachers, and you can decline to comment on this if you like, is I see a lot of teachers that want to be their friends, and that's not what they need.
No, that's not it. You're not there to be friends. You're there to be the instructor in charge of that class, but you still could build relationships without being their friends.
It's all about balance.
Absolutely.
It's about balance. That's the key word, Ed, about balance.
We talk about rigor and relevance a lot in education, but the third R is way more important. It's the relationship, and you have to have that balance, and you have to know the student. And a lot of, in my opinion, not Jake's, a lot of people, I think a lot of educators seem to confuse that relationship.
And Chef, how about the times I come to your class? You didn't miss a beat. You could stand, walk out for a minute just outside, and if I had we needed to talk about something, them kids continued doing what they were supposed to do. Not one kid missed a beat.
No.
And they had the same way in your class. Those kids did what they had to do, and they were on task.
They're generally pretty good. They were all right.
Yeah, they were. I mean, really, and that that's a testament to you guys too, though. How you ran your classes, how the students respected you.
Again, from you, kind words, my friend.
Appreciate that.
No, but they did, though. I mean, that's what we had, though. And the reason why I'm bringing it, that's the relationships we had at Chamberlain High School. And a lot of high schools didn't have that.
People ask me all the time, what's the secret? And there is no secret, but to pinpoint what we do that makes us different and puts us in a different category. And not that I'm, doing a toot, but, my reviews are public record. Go look them up. Also, you can't pinpoint it because it's a juggling act. It's spinning plates. There's too much to define it. And, one of my favorite things is I love when people say those who can't do, teach. And I like to respond to those people in my industry. I've done your job. You've never done mine. I'll switch you with you any day of the week because I know you can't handle it. Good teachers have to put too many skills and hats and, we got to be everything to all people, and it's hard sometimes. And people
And
don't
it's hard. It's really hard because Chef, you think about you and Ed, y'all have families too.
Yeah.
You have to be everything and everybody and still go home and with your families and do what need to be done. And teachers, I mean, you constantly shifting as a teacher. You're working, you want the kids to be successful. You got all the assignments to do. You got your duties and all of that. And then you have to go home and be a parent. So that, that's difficult to do. And I don't think people realize that unless you have been a teacher. The only way. Like our Coker said, he said in a sane world, now everybody would be teachers and everybody else would find something else to do.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
And that's where you put it.
I got to pick your brain, man, because I respect you a lot, and you've always been a huge supporter and advocate of everything that we do. And when I say we, I mean the culinary program at Chamberlain, and then even now at Irwin. You're welcome out anytime. I'd love to have you out for lunch and see what we're doing now.
Well, yeah, you remember one time I came as area superintendent, you showed me around. I mean, it was really good. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Leaving Chamberlain was the hardest thing I had to do, but, definitely made the right choice, and we're doing some amazing things. I want to ask you a question, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
okay.
You went to school and you got out and you worked in the military, and I'm sure you worked throughout college doing jobs, and you came back to teaching after gaining what I call some worldly experience. I struggle with people who go to K-12, move on to a university, and come right back into the school system without really going out and getting some worldly experience, what I'll call it, doing some other jobs, some other skills, or taking a sabbatical from that K-12 world. Even my daughter, she'll call a second-year teacher. She calls them in their 18th year of school because they went 12 and then 2 years of teaching. My math's probably wrong, but they're not a senior; they're in the 18th grade.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? If you have any feelings about it, if you even thought about it?
Well, I really haven't, Eric. But some people are forced in different directions.
Yep.
And I think between my athletic abilities and moving on and then going into the military, I was more so like forced in going into different areas. It wasn't like my choice. It was just there for me to do because I was an athlete, a student athlete, went to college. Then I got drafted in the military. If I had an option, I would not have had not gone to the military,
Absolutely.
But I was forced to go in that direction. So that led me into all these other areas that I got involved in. And it had nothing to do with my choice. Sometimes people are forced to go in the areas and they realize once they get in those areas, hey, that's pretty good. I want to do that. And that's what happened to me. Because I don't know if I would have gone in the military, but I do realize I would have been a teacher because I wanted to give back. I wanted to give back to the community what they gave to me. So I wanted to give something back, and my way of giving back was going through the education area of giving back. Now, I could have done something else. Maybe I could have been a police officer. Maybe I could have been a judge or lawyer. I don't know. But I wanted to come back and give something back to the community. And it was fortunate enough for me to come back and give back through the educational process.
And that's still evident today because 42 years in the district, now you want to come back and give back even more as a school board member.
Yeah, yes, I do. Yeah, yes, I do. When you look at my career, my life has been education because 12 years as a student, and then 42 years as an instructor, as an educator. So that's 54 years. I mean, that's over half of my life, 54 years that I've been involved in Hillsborough County Public School System. I mean, it's just like that's what I know and that's what I do, and that's why I serve. That's why I serve the students and the teachers and the employees of Hillsborough County, because that's all I know. I mean, that's my life.
That's awesome, man. You know what you want to do. I don't know how I ended up in education other than when I got my bachelor's, it was in creative writing. You know what kind of job you can get with a creative writing degree?
Be a teacher.
Not even that. I mean, now these days they might certify you, but when I got mine, the best it was going to get for me was working at the old Tampa Tribune and delivering faxes, delivering mail, running stuff over to Holland at night. So I needed to make a little extra money. I started subbing. That was it. First place I was at was Van Buren. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it was a little bit of a challenge to walk in there and sub. I was 23 years old, but it just felt natural. It did, like, you know, even dealing with some of those kids who are a little bit tough, I don't know. I was good at it as far as conveying caring, conveying knowledge, blending all that, and finding a way to deal with them. You just seem better geared for it, man. That was your vector. Me, I was waving around like one of those noodle guys in front of Metro PCS, just no direction whatsoever. Education kept me focused. You had focus before that.
You know, Ed, you said a lot. But you think about the three of us. The three of us being in education. You know why we successful? Because kids respected us, and they, you know, kids will run through a wall for us. All through, you know that.
Oh yeah.
Because kids loved us. I mean, we didn't have to go through no hard time disciplining students.
Yeah, I was.
And I think it's because we give them the respect they deserve. The respect.
Exactly. And that's important. I mean, that's very important.
So, Sheikh, I wanna read something from your bio here, and you know, it says your community involvement has included many years of service in your church as a trustee, a member of the ushers board, and most rewarding period as an active participant of the youth mentoring program. You're not only doing this in your job status as an instructor, as an administrator, you know, you're carrying this into your personal life. This isn't a vocation for you. This is an avocation for you. This is a calling, and you're taking it around all realms and giving back in your entire life. And you know, that to me is what makes you amazing. It's not a career choice. This is a life choice, and I think that's why I really enjoy hanging out with you.
Yeah, well, you know, I always wanted to give back to the community because the community made me. I didn't make the community. Growing up here in Tampa, you know, I had many friends, older guys when I was in high school. Used to come watch me play. Used to give me money for making grades. So I wanted to give back to the community, and that's what I do. Like, I have the Tony Dungy Foundation I work with. We feed kids. We give out book bags. We also deal with the We See You, and we give out money. We got youth leagues. I donate to basketball camp. Charlie Brantley, who's a great athlete in Hillsborough County, he has a camp, and I send 2 kids. Let him send 2 kids to his camp. I work with CDC, giving out suits. I give suits back to kids who suit up and dress up. You know, I like doing that because that's who I am. That's who my family and I. We like giving back to the community. And my wife was in the school system herself for 41 years. You know,
I knew her before I knew you.
That's right. She told me. You think about 41 years, and she was in 12, over 100 years between going to school here in Hillsborough County, between my wife and I. That's over 100 years that we've been in Hillsborough County public school system.
Wow.
You know, and my son has 25 years.
Wow.
You know, so we work hard, we give back. And my daughter's a doctor. She works at Tampa General. She volunteers in the community. She gives physicals, goes out and speak. You know, that's what we do, though. That's my life. That's what we love to do, is give back to the community.
And that's amazing. And there's not many people like you, my friend.
No.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, Shay, give us all the deets on what we need to know about you running for school board. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'd say this all the time. You know, I talk smack, I talk garbage. I have my own thoughts, my own beliefs, and they're not based on much merit at all. That's why I hang out with Ed. But you know, what I do know is the heart that this man has, and that's enough for me to get behind him in whatever he does. So, Sheikh, how do people find you? How do we make sure we vote for you? How do we contribute to your campaign? whatever we can do to help you, how do we do that? Because, you know, all the give back you've done, I think it's time to get you in the building and fighting for our teachers, our students, and the future of this district.
Yeah, well, but first of all, let me give you, you know, my website, because my webpage is important to go to too. It's www.shakeforschoolboard.com.
Okay.
And you can go to that website, and I have a button where you can donate. You can donate to my campaign.
Well, you know, all you VooDoos out there, make sure you jump on and do that. Doesn't matter if it's $5 or $5,000.
Well, you can only donate $1,000 to the max to me.
So do it 5 times.
And if you're doing cash, you can only give me $50 in cash. But if you're writing a check, you can only donate up to $1,000 in cash. Now, and also, you know, if you make the check out, and I'm gonna give you the address you can send the check to. If you make the check out, you make the check out for Henry Shake Washington campaign. And you can send it to 1204 North Willer Avenue. And 1204 North Willer Avenue, and the zip code is 33607.
1204 North Willow Avenue, 33607.
Right. You can send it to that address. And again, you know, and we're looking for volunteers, and I'm gonna give you my phone where people can contact me. They can contact
shout it out.
They can contact me at 813-404-3078. How
many people do you know that just do that? Here's my number. Hit me up if you need me.
Yeah, well, that's how I am. I mean that they can call me, and I can give them the information they need on my number.
I do have a real important question to ask you, and
yes, sir.
You know, I think you and I connected probably around 2002, maybe 2003, when I first started at Chamberlain. This is when I started hearing of you. I think you were probably at Middleton at that time.
Yeah, I had just left. You're right.
And Pam Peralta had hired me on for culinary, and
right.
I love Pammy P. But I've always had one question I wanted to ask you, but like you were saying, you know, 6'1", 240, the pictures of you in that chief garb with those guns ablazing, man, a little intimidating, even for the, you know, the 6 foot, 270 pound bald guy at the time. Where the hell does the name Shake come from?
Well, that came from high school. That came from playing basketball when I was in high school. I had a shake and go move. And it started really in junior high, but then it converted more when I got in high school, because in junior high, I led the county in scoring, and I could play then too. In basketball, we didn't have football. But when I got to high school, it developed more. I had a stop and go move where it was hard to stop me, because if you came up on me, I'm going to go around you. If you back up, I'm going to shoot that jumper. So it was just a shake and go move, and they started calling me Shake.
I love it, man. That is awesome. That is awesome. I got to tell you guys, VooDoos, if you're out there, which I know you are, make sure you check them out. Don't, you know, Ed and I are sitting here. We got some personal vested interest. You know, we go back, but
we go back a long ways. We do.
Go kick the tires, you know, do your own research. I think you'll be very surprised at what you find. I think you'll be very happy with what you find. Shake is a solid cat who has, if nothing else, students' best interest at mind. And in my book, that's enough. Not to mention, he has the background of going through our district, being a teacher in our district, being an administrator in our district, being an assistant soup in our district, and trusting his own kids to go through our schools. That speaks volumes. And Shake, I am so proud that you're running for school board. More importantly, that I can call you a friend, buddy.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. You know, Chamberlain afforded me a lot in life, because at Chamberlain, I was 5-time principal of the year. I mean, you know, by the
5 times.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah, and 3 consecutive times in a row. So Chamberlain, you know, we did a great job at Chamberlain, because when Dr. Leonard and Dr. Hamilton and Randy Poindexter put me there, they said, we want you to go in there, because Chamberlain was rough. It was rough. it was rough times. And we went in there along with Ed and you and all the rest of the people that were there. We came in and we did the things that we needed to do in order to make Chamberlain a great school. And it was a great school. You know, when after about 4 years, we were ranked in the top 30 safety schools in America.
Wow.
Yeah, we really were. Yeah, and we, you know, we worked hard. You know, we worked hard. We stuck together. We were a family, and we only met when we needed to meet. I didn't have all those faculty meetings, and when I did, everybody came to faculty meeting. Did the Ed?
They were all there, man. There was nobody.
Everybody came to faculty meeting because you know why?
And hanging back.
Because I gave out gifts every time we had a faculty meeting to my teachers. We gave turkeys. I mean, all kinds of TVs. I mean, we gave a lot because people donated that to us.
I heard
we had
about
a great time in faculty meeting.
I heard about everything I missed with you not being there. Trust me. But you know, I got to tell you, Sheikh, I'm excited and I'm very, very hopeful, and I think good things are going to come, my friend. And I wish you my best.
Okay, I appreciate that so much coming from you too. I really do.
Well, you're not going to be too happy with me when I tell you what's next on the podcast.
What's next?
It's time for a little pointless pop culture trivia. Are you ready?
Uh-oh. Pop culture?
Well, not just pop culture trivia, pointless pop culture trivia.
Oh,
and
buddy.
And it's not just for you, my friend. We've got some friends going to join us here. We've got some business partners. We've got some local chefs. We've got some friends. And we've got some Hillsborough County alum, and they're all popping in the room right now. So, Sheikh, I'd like you to meet Chef Carl Miller. Carl Miller is the chef at Atria Senior Living Facility. He's joining us tonight to play a little pointless pop culture trivia. I'd like you to meet the official attorney of the VooDoo Chef Foundation, Erik Moore.
Okay.
We are looking for Anthony DiCarlo. Anthony DiCarlo is a Jefferson High School alum. And we're looking for Jody. Jody, are you in the building?
I am.
You're going to have to turn your video on, my friend. Jody is joining us all the way from Portland, and she is one of our business partners.
All right.
And she is my coffee guru, and she makes sure that we're fully educated on all things coffee. So, you coming, Jody? There we go. How are you, friend?
I'm good. Sorry.
All of our trivia folks, I would like you to meet Henry Sheikh Washington, who is a 42-year veteran of the Hillsborough County Public School Systems.
Oh my goodness.
From educator to assistant superintendent. He's currently running for school board.
Fantastic.
And we're going to put it all to the test tonight with a little bit of pointless pop culture trivia. And
pointless, okay.
Just a little refresh here. I think we got a couple newbies in the room. Ed is the ruler of pointless pop culture trivia, and his decision is final.
Okay.
He is also the scorekeeper because I suck with numbers. Unless they're presidents, I can count those. Also, when we read the question, the way in which you will answer the question is simply by shouting out your name. If you know the answer, shout out your name. Ed will call upon you, and you'll have the opportunity to answer the question.
Okay.
Now,
I have a question. Is it your name or actually the name of the person?
You would say Anthony DiCarlo.
All right. Sorry. Thank you. That's
Oh man, I'm here
Your
with
name.
some experts now.
All right. Go ahead. I'll be quiet.
Just so you know, tonight we will be playing for the opportunity to be entered into a drawing where we may or may not select a prize that you could win at a later date. So good luck.
Okay.
Since we have my friend Sheikh in the room tonight, we'll start out with a couple education questions. Lori Loughlin, star of the widely famous TV show Full House, not that I watch that show, pleaded guilty and was recently sentenced to 2 months in prison for paying $500,000 in bribes to get her 2 daughters into college. What college was she trying to get her children into?
Carl. Stanford.
Stanford is incorrect.
Shake.
Shake.
Hey,
USC.
that's the one.
USC is the answer.
University of Southern California.
Wow.
All right. And just so we're all on board, we have a total of 600 questions tonight. 9 questions.
Get your espresso.
Oh,
now.
man. Okay. Okay.
All right, here we go. Whose famous inaugural address posed the question, ask not what your country can do for you,
Anthony.
ask what you can do for your country.
Anthony blurted in before you were even
Oh,
done.
sorry. JFK.
Mr. Overachiever.
JFK, John F. Kennedy is the correct
Right.
response.
JFK.
Yes.
Are you supposed to wait till they answer the question, or there's no buzzer?
It's pointless, dude.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm excited. I'm on TV.
Just remember, my attorney's in the room, so I'm covered no matter what.
Can't even do this without legal opinions.
Woo. Okay.
But I'm going to warn you, he cheats and looks for the loopholes in the questions.
Oh,
That was
okay.
yesterday.
Okay.
We've heard already.
Question number 3.
Okay.
Recently, JFK's famous speech was quoted referring to society today. They don't have pride in our country, and because they no longer ask, what can I do for my country? Only what the country should be doing for them. They don't have pride in themselves. That's wrong. Name the famous football coach who made these comments and is now being distanced by the political straddling Catholic University Notre Dame.
Yeah, I already got it.
Did I hear that, Carl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we right?
Go
Yes,
ahead.
Lou Holtz.
Not,
It is
somebody
Lou.
got it.
It is Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz. That's right. Lou Holtz.
So Ed, what's our score? I'm like on pins and needles here.
Shay, Carl, and Tony all each have 1.
Oh, 3-way tie. And there's only 542 questions left.
Oh, yeah.
Question number, Shake, we did tell you that this was a 48-hour podcast, right?
That's okay. That's okay.
All right.
I'm retired.
Does he have some coffee?
He says,
Yeah.
I'm retired, I got
Send
time.
it back over.
That's right. I'm retired, so I'm good to go.
Well, I think everybody else in the room has to go to work.
That's right. So I can. That's right.
All right, here we go. Question number 4. This American sitcom is about a teacher who returned to his alma mater to teach a bunch of unruly sweat hogs.
Oh,
Jody.
Tony. Oh,
Jody.
Welcome back,
Jody.
Cotter.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jody is in with Welcome Back, Cotter. So, a 4-way tie now, yes?
It is. So you
Oh,
can't.
wait, I thought I had 2. I said, welcome back, Carter.
Oh, you got beat by Jody on that one, Shake.
Oh, Jody won. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
That's
remember,
okay.
just remember that was your friend Ed who ruled against you, not me.
Oh, track marks. I just got thrown under the bus.
That's great. That's
Let me
good.
scratch my back for those track marks.
That's
Oh,
okay.
there's the gator, Paul. Watch out.
Yeah.
All right, Ed, Shake, here comes your softball, okay? Question, oh wait, no, this isn't it. The next one is. Question number 6. On April 23, 1635, the first public school in what would become the United States was established. Name the city that can boast this claim.
Erik.
Erik.
Boston.
Boston is correct.
Erik is
Yeah.
on the board.
I'm gonna take
Hey.
this here.
It was the Boston Latin School.
You skipped
Boston
number
Latin
5.
School. Okay.
We do remember the rules, right? No cheating.
Right.
That's right.
Come on.
Today.
It sounded like you were implying I was cheating.
No, well, there were very few guesses that you probably could have made in that time frame. So you're just a smart one because I would have said St. Augustine, bro. It's real easy. I feel like Alex Trebek. It's real easy on this side when you have all the answers, right?
You got to go back to number 5.
Number 5. I skipped number 5. Oh, yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
What movie is this quote from? Those that can't do, teach. And those that can't teach Jim.
Hey, what's that from?
Movie.
Carl. Bad teacher.
Oh, that would have been a good one, but no.
There's plenty of lines in that, but not that one.
Going once, going twice, gone. That line was said by Dewey Finn in the movie School of Rock.
School of Rock. Okay.
It's an American classic. I mean, come on.
No, I think my favorite line ever from a movie by a teacher was in Animal House when they all walk out and he's giving their assignment. It's like, I'm not joking. This is my job. I have felt that way a few times.
We're down to the last 3. Ed, you want to give us a rundown here?
Yep, everybody has one.
Everybody has one.
Oh,
I'm going into that home stretch.
All right, I've got Shake. I got faith in you, buddy.
I'm glad you do.
This school's first campus was just a room over a livery stable on Franklin Street in 1885. After moving around Tampa a total of 8 different times, the school finally settled in its current location on Central Avenue in 1928.
Shake.
You better get this one.
That's the one.
Bro.
Yep.
Yeah, you better get that one. That's where your wife and I met.
I didn't even know all that. It moved around 8 times?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
It did a stint in that building. No, that was Jefferson. That building you and I went to where we fed people at Christmas or something. Where you work, Ed.
Oh, out of Waters? Okay.
I was mistaken. Jefferson was out of Waters, not Hillsborough.
Right, they call it Old Jefferson. Yeah.
That's Old Jefferson. Exactly right.
All right, so Hillsborough High School, arguably the oldest school in the Southeast.
In Hillsborough County, exactly.
And Hillsborough County. And if you have not been there to see that campus, breathtaking, amazing. And Friday night football at that school, off the chart.
It's a
All right. Name the famous Hillsborough High School grad that pitched from 1984 to 1994.
Shake, watch. Shake.
Ed,
Go ahead.
who's in first, Ed?
Shake one. I got Shake. I heard him
Yep.
first.
Oh,
Good Shake.
Jake, who is it?
Dwight Gooden.
It is Dwight Doc Gooden. He
Dwight
pitched
Gooden.
for the Mets, the Yankees, the Indians, the Astros, and the Rays. At that time, the Devil Rays. That's one I like. Not that I know a damn thing about baseball. What's our score here, Eddie C?
Shake's got 3. Everybody else got 1.
I think we got a runaway here, and I think all right, here we go. Last question, and you know what? We'll make this question worth 1,000 points. We'll do an old remote control
Is there a video question coming up?
There is a video question featuring Adam Sandler. This term refers to a variety of instructional techniques used to move students progressively towards stronger understanding and ultimately greater independence in the learning process, or a temporary structure on the outside of a building used by workers while building, repairing, or cleaning the building.
Jody.
Jody.
Scaffolding, maybe?
The answer is scaffolding.
Yep.
The answer is scaffolding.
Yay.
And we're going to rule it a tie between Jody and Shake. So you will be entered into a drawing where you will possibly have the opportunity to be selected to win a prize at a much later date.
Okay, thank you.
Hey.
Hey guys, we appreciate everybody coming in, supporting VooDoo Chef, the VooDoo Chef podcast, supporting Shake. Make sure you get out there, Booties. Check out Shake. All his social media will be listed on our Facebook page. Shay, good luck, my friend.
And there you have it, Voodies, another episode of the VooDoo Chef Podcast. Let's give a big shout out to everyone involved with VooDoo Chef and all things voodoo, starting with Woostoff Knives, the official knife of the VooDoo Chef. And jamming up and down the streets of all Ybor City and Tampa Bay, Ragged Old Souls. Thanks for letting me jam with you guys. And when those amps are cranking, the turntables are definitely spinning thanks to the official DJ of the VooDoo Chef, DJ Don Pablo. Check him out spinning all across town, most importantly, at all VooDoo Chef events. Speaking of events, getting ready for yours? Check out VooDoo Chef Catering, custom created events for every shape and size. Log on to VooDooChefCatering.com to get your information today. A great big shout out to all my Voodies that are in the VooDoo crew. Thank you for your support. And of course, we could not do what we do in the crew without all of our crew sponsors. First Watch, Chef Shane Shively, thank you for believing in our mission. And of course, we can't forget VooDoo Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, check them out at VooDooMortgage.com. Alessi Bakery, a Tampa staple. Drop in and check them out today. And our newest sponsor, Twisted South Food Truck. Chef Adam Jessup, thank you for what you do. And of course, all things voodoo are in support of the VooDoo Chef Foundation, providing culinary scholarship and feeding those in need. To find out more information or make a donation yourself, log on to VooDooChefFoundation.com today.
Sweet baby, she tastes just like strawberry.